Hello viewers, I'm Advocate here. I was from Lexis and Company. Today I'm going to talk about the domicile under private international. So, first of all, let's talk about the introduction part. The concept of domicile is an envisaged under Chapter 2 of the Succession Act of Indian 1925. Clearly intends to be used as a yardstick of the determination of the civil status of an individual to exclusion or any person under the following faith: Hindu, Muslims, Buddhists, Sikhs. Now, I'll talk about the definition. The domicile is the attribution of being or seeing a place of a person's a permanent abode. For a place to be seen as the acceptance domicile of a person, there must be evidence to the effect that the person sees the said to his general domicile as a permanent abode. Now, irrespective of the fact that a person has lived in a given place, state or jurisdiction for a long time, in the absence of that mental acceptance of such persons showing that he said jurisdiction shall be his permanent abode, it will not be deemed that the person is domicile. Now, therefore, the mere act of residing in a place in the absence of the will of accepting such place as a permanent abode violates such a place of a domicile. While within a country, domicile can be determined by a state, but it can also be limited to a country where the person lives beyond the shores of his country of the origin. The illustration is Aman, a citizen of India who had lived all his life from the age of 4 years in England. He lives all his life according to the decades of the England culture, but still insists that he is an Indian, and upon his demise, his remain must be buried in India according to his culture or religion. Now, from the above definition of domicile, it is obvious that while Aman's residence may be Southampton in the UK, but his domicile in India. See the case of Baslow versus Povericrane in 2017, where the domicile of wealthy Russian residing in UK was extensively discussed and determined. Again, Taj is an Indian of India but resides in Punjab, all within India, provided that he consistently expressed the desire to live all his life in Punjab. His domicile is unbrokenly Punjab. See the case of Joshi versus State of Madhya Bharat for the stance of Indian court pertaining the extent of domicile. Now, I'll talk about the kinds of domicile. Basically, there are 3 kinds of domicile. First one is domicile by origin. Second one is domicile by choice. Third one is domicile by operation of law. Now, I'll tell you about one by one. Now, what is domicile by origin? In discussing domicile by origin, the following classes of a person shall be considered. They are a legitimate child, an illegitimate child, a posthumous child. Every person upon his birth is vested with a domicile. Birth is medium through which a person gets the first contract with the law of environment. In other words, this kind of domicile by origin is also known as domicile by birth. A legitimate child upon birth by virtue of Section 7 of Indian Succession Act 1925 acquires the domicile of the father at the time of his birth. By virtue of Section 8 of the same Act of 1925, an illegitimate child is clothed with the domicile of the mother at the time of the child's birth. In the case of posthumous child, his domicile is the domicile of the deceased father prior to his death. See Section 7 of the Succession Act of 1925 above. Now, first one was domicile by origin or domicile by birth. Now I'll talk about domicile by choice. On attaining the age of majority, one is faced with a lot of decision, which is liberty to take and bear the responsibility. One of such decisions is the choice of domicile. A person of age and sound mind acquires a domicile of a place when he voluntarily decides to live indefinitely in a place. By establishing a permanent desire to live in a place, the law recognizes the new place as the domicile by habitation. In the absence of such, the law will not foist a domicile on a person. An illustration to buttress this point is Jean, a Canadian from Quebec, migrated to India in the case of performing a mandatory military service until he retired and continued to live in India. He took up a teaching job in college and continued to live in India without expressing the slightest desire to go back to Cuba. Clearly, Jane's domicile by habitation is India only. A scenario may be also where a person after living in India for about 1 year will make an application in a prescribed manner to designated government department expressing the desire to take India as his domicile. So I'll talk about the domicile by operation of law. The above form of domicile is called the domicile by dependence. It is the instrumentality of the law that will lead to ascertaining where is the domicile of the person in question. This arises where the domicile of a person is determined by the domicile of another person. The Act recognizes three categories of persons as persons whose domicile may be classified and defined under these three headings. These persons are minors, persons of unsound mind, and married women. So, the domicile of a minor, including an adopted child, is by the provision of Section 14 and 17 of the Succession Act 1925. Dependent on the domicile of the parents and may be interwoven as the case or in domicile by origin. However, a child's domicile may be distinct from that of his parents if he is married. Second, he is under the appointment of the service of the Government of India. Third, with the consent of his parents, he had set up a business. The domicile of a person under legal disability, particularly unsound mind, is any provision of Section 18 of the Succession Act 1925 depends on the domicile of the following persons. He is a guardian. Second, spouse if married. And third, the parent. Married women by virtue of marriage acquire the domicile of their husband. Her domicile shall continue to rely on the changes of the domicile of her husband through the substance of her marriage. If it allows therefore that only two instances can lead to cessation of a married woman's domicile if a court of competent jurisdiction grants a degree of dissolution of marriage between the woman and her spouse, automatically her domicile shall no longer be dependent on that of the husband. Likewise, where the husband is serving a prison term, the reliance of the husband domicile abates until he is released from the prison. So, these are some examples of the domicile and kinds of domicile. I hope you are clear with the topic of domicile under private international law and how it works under the Hindu Succession Act 1948. If you have any queries regarding this topic, post a comment in the comment section. I'll resolve all your queries regarding the domicile. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.